Well, these guys are playing their 70th match as pros against one another, and this is their 6th head-to-head here at the Crucible so far. It's a bit of a classic, but as you can see, it's Ronnie who has established quite a healthy lead here in the quest for the 17 frames winning line. This is the story of their respective seasons. Now, John's been in 6 big finals this term. He's won one of them, but he has not lost a semi-final this term. Ronnie claimed his 38th world ranking title, the World Grand Prix in Coventry. But interesting to note that this season these guys have met one another 3 times before, albeit in shorter matches. John has won all of them. In fact, John has won 6 of the last 7. But it's Higgins who is the man under real pressure tonight to try and overturn that 6-frame deficit. Now, Ken Doherty and Steve Davis are our men in the bubble tonight, ready for anything, guys. How would you characterise that session between the 2 men this morning in terms of ambition and intensity that was spilling out?
A lot of intensity from both players, for sure. You could just tell how much both of them really want it, you know. And I thought Ronnie was sublime today, I must say. The scoring has been impeccable. And John had a couple of chances to close the gap a little bit further and just missed out. That cannon where that went wrong, it could have won that frame, might have made things a little bit more closer, given him a better chance tonight. I wouldn't completely count them out of it because you just never know after what we've seen from Mark Williams. But it's going to be very, very difficult. Unusually,
the emotion almost spilled over. We very rarely see John show such frustration out there.
Yeah, he got frustrated at one point to a level I don't think anybody's seen here at the Crucible. I think perhaps the frustration that he wasn't scoring well enough and he was wasting chances that he knew he had to get against Ronnie. But Ronnie started off... it was quite tense to start with, but it seems like Ronnie starts off sort of quite evenly paced and all of a sudden ups that pace and he's strong towards the end of each session. And at the end, I mean, he played some great safety at the start, and at the end he was just unplayable.
He'll never take anything for granted against a man like John Higgins, who's come back at him many, many times before. But do you feel that he reckons that the match has been broken in terms of his resistance?
No, I don't think he'll ever give up. I don't think he'll ever give up. There's no way. He's not that type. He's not that type of an animal. You'd have to scrape him off the table tonight. He'll try for every ball, and he'll want to win as many frames as he can. And I think that's going to be very, very important. But Ronnie will understand that he would like to get this over as early as possible and have an early night and get ready for the final. So it's going to be quite interesting.
It will be Judd Trump who will be sitting watching and waiting for the winner of this one. And just a brief reflection on what we saw in that absolutely stupendous semi-final earlier.
Quite incredible. I mean, yeah, we've had incredible frames of snooker that have been so exciting, but that whole match was just astonishing. Unbelievable from Mark Williams. In the end, just 1 or 2 missed balls. But Judd, I thought, showed great character and great understanding of when to play the right shot at the right time. Some great safety shots. I think he's in good nick, really. Mentally, he's come through this tournament, started off looking a bit ropey, certainly wasn't a player in form, and slowly he's played his way into a bit of form, won some big matches, and now I think he's probably at his peak as much as he can be. Still not potting maybe the long ones as strongly, but amongst the balls he's doing very well.
But what can you say about Mark Williams? 16 centuries he's made, and that equals Stephen Hendry's total, his best in the championship in 2002.
If you had said that a few years ago, that he was going to beat Stephen or equal Stephen's record and not be in the final,
exactly.
And you know, it's just incredible, the scoring power, and it was such a shame to have a loser in that semi-final because the both of them played fantastically well, and what a great comeback from him. He'll be very disappointed because he had his chance in the last, but yeah, what a marvellous semi-final. Everybody on the edge of their seats.
OK, well, everybody on the edge of their seats again this evening because 6 frames the difference tonight. Ronnie has not beaten John at the Crucible for over 2 decades, would you believe? But he's 2 frames away from putting that right this evening. Will there yet be a twist in the tale? Rob Walker, are you ready?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's already been an extraordinary day of drama here at the Crucible, and we have one more session of snooker to come before tomorrow's Betfred World Championship final. Time to find out who'll be joining Judd Trump in what promises to be an epic climax to the season. Welcome back to the conclusion of the Clash of '92. Please welcome one of the finest sportsmen his country has ever produced. If anyone can turn around this deficit, it's this man. His mental strength is unrivaled. 4 times a champion of the world, the Wizard of Wishaw, John Higgins. And now to the greatest player in history, 2 frames away from an incredible 8th world final. 6 times a champion of the world, blink and you'll miss him, the Rocket, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
A possible 9 more frames to play this evening, but the world number 1 O'Sullivan needs just 2 of them to book a place in an 8th final and give himself a chance of matching the 7 times world champion Stephen Hendry. Indeed, Stephen is keeping an eagle eye on this one alongside John Virgo. Good evening to you both.
Good evening, Hazel, and good evening, everybody. Yes, pleasure to be with Stephen here.
Thank you, frame 25.
2 of the all-time greats. I think, pure and simple, Stephen, for John, it's just pride in performance, and as we say, take 1 frame at a time.
Yeah, at the very least, you want to make your opponent
take your phones down
win
there,
it,
please.
rather than, you know, just assume that the result is inevitable. John would never do that. This match could have been so different for a couple of unforced errors. The red in the middle, after John had made a century this morning and looked like he was getting a bit of momentum in the match, really stopped him in his tracks.
Safe, but no real pressure on Ronnie. Get his hand on the table.
Yeah, that's it, it's gone.
Just a few seconds ago, we were running through the stats of this game. I always think the pot success is the major difference in most matches. Ronnie will something at 95%, and John Higgins down at 87%. That tells the story. Catching the yellow is not what he wanted. Yeah, it's hard to keep the belief if you're John Higgins. But he's one of the all-time great match players. And if you can get a couple of frames on the board early, that belief might still be there. Well, I caught that much too thin. And I think Ronnie can get through to this red that's closest to the left corner.
It can be sometimes quite difficult when you've got the lead that Ronnie has come into the session to be as focused, as intense as earlier on in the match, because you can only really lose it. You're coming into the session knowing you're going to win, but it's when that happens. But Ronnie's been so focused throughout the whole championship, but it doesn't seem to affect him the same way. Sometimes it affects other players. It's normally incredible at closing out matches.
Four. Five.
It's turned into an excellent chance this now for Ronnie to score heavily at this visit. It's this sort of situation. Wow, wow. I was just about to say, JV, in the whole championship, I think you can count on one hand the amount of easy shots he's missed. That is, well, I mean, it's a lapse in concentration, but an incredible miss, you have to say.
One.
Yeah, but as you said, and proves to be right early on, it's staying focused. He won't panic, but he'll just be annoyed that he's let his guard slip there. Now John has got to take advantage of any opportunity he gets.
Yeah, if the session was 12 each, there's no way in the world Ronnie would have missed that black.
8.
Yeah, John, all he can do is just not miss a single pot and just see where it takes him.
9.
But short on the blue. Be disappointed with that.
John just going back for that little extension on his cue. Not much to do with the cue ball. Rolling in for the black in the opposite corner.
15.
Well played, the stone runs through. That way you get through the ball better.
Delivery. 22.
Played to get as close to this red as he could to make it easier. Just got to take care along the cushions. Yeah, well played.
23.
That's okay, it's just the wrong side of the black. Anyway, he's on this red.
31. $36. $37. $44.
39 points. The lead now. Still going to need, excluding that one, he's just potted 2 more reds with colours to get to Snooker's required. And we saw before, when a couple of shots ago, that this red just below the 3, below the pink, it goes to the opposite corner. He's playing this black. That's there for another time.
52.
Nicely on this red. Perfectly placed on the black.
53.
He wouldn't want to play the cannon if he didn't have to. And I think this red, the bottom one of the 3, is definitely available.
$60.
So red in a colour.
$61.
So in goes the black. Snooker's required.
68.
There you see it, 63 ahead, 59 remaining.
$69.
And as Stephen said, that's all you can do. You're given a chance, don't miss, and see where it gets you. Good start for John, this. Well, it won't matter about the blue, and I think the only reason, well, Ronnie won't come back to the table. I thought he might come back for a bit of table time. Mr. Easy Black off the spot was punished. John Higgins wins the first frame. Still 5 behind, 15-10.
Well, Well, it looks a very difficult task, obviously, but there's a man in the studio that faced exactly the same scoreline, 9-15 against Paul Hunter, the late great, in 2003, and you overturned that to win. It can be done.
Of course it can, yeah, and that's all you have to do. You have to just go out and believe that, you know, you take each frame as they come and play it like it's your last frame. If you go out with that mindset, anything can happen, you know, and as you gather one frame to 2 frames, it's amazing how quick the pressure can build on your opponent. Even someone as good as Ronnie O'Sullivan, he will still feel a little bit of pressure.
I'm sure he will, and Sean Murphy was talking about this. He'd done something similar actually last year, coming back from 6 frames down, but he said it's important to get the crowd on your side. They do love an underdog. They do like to see a comeback in these matches. They like to get their money's worth, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, you can't make the crowd be on your side, but obviously everybody likes to see a closer finish than a runaway victory. What John needs is a bit of help from Ronnie O'Sullivan, and he got it in that frame. It looked for all the world like Ronnie was just going to breeze through that frame, and it does have the problem of getting, when you get close to the finishing line, the player in front not necessarily seeing the finishing line, but sort of maybe just sort of lacking the same drive of competitiveness because the scoreline is big and more expectation on him. But still important for John Higgins to make the most of all his opportunities tonight.
Back we go.
The break off, bit pacey, not close enough to the ball cushion, that cue ball. Possible pot to the right corner. A lot depends on the potting angle in this shot. If you could roll it in and finish up on the black, you take it on, but if you feel you're running into other reds and can't get position, no value. And Ronnie turning it down. And that's a good length with the cue ball. So important. If you're going to force a mistake for your opponent, find that baulk cushion.
The other thing that John's got to try and do if possible is keep Ronnie needing 2 frames for victory. I think if Ronnie gets to 16 quite soon, then yeah, the task will be impossible. Well, I'm not sure if Ronnie knew about that red going there when he played the safety, but it's gone safe.
Because this red is the only one he can make contact with. If he's playing it towards his corner pocket, he needs to get close to jaws. Well, he played it off the bump, but there's a red going over the corner. Has he got cover? I think he has. Fortunate there. And I'm just looking at the table, Stephen. Dear me, reds everywhere. Black available into both corners. If you get the next chance, it could be a frame-winning one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the first 2-3 frames this morning, the safety exchanges, John was getting a little rubs, but that one definitely went in Ronnie's favour there. He's in a lot of trouble here. I mean, if he plays slowly up to this red of the cushion, it wouldn't be the worst result in the world. Going in off, but he's not. He's playing the first red. Is he going for the pot? Well, that's a fantastic shot. That is a fantastic shot. Acknowledged by Ronnie Sullivan. Re-rack inbound, I think.
Yeah, what a wonderful shot that was from John Higgins. You have to be so accurate to nestle that cue ball behind this red. Well, decided to go to the ball, but once again, just a little bit pacey. Not found the ball cushion.
Yeah, played up the attack and safety. I suppose at 15-10 down, you can't afford to be playing negative safety shots, but he's left something for Ronnie here. There's a chance John can just roll the cue ball up behind the blue here, and Ronnie is in a lot of trouble.
I think he's missed a trick there. If he's let Ronnie hit a red, which he has.
Yeah, played it with drag, which I always think is a risky way to play, because then when the cue ball hits the red, there's no momentum on it. I'd have much rather gone higher up the cue ball.
I think he's left a red here to the left corner. You see the anguish on John's face. Choice of two. The straight one needs more accurate cueing than the three-quarter ball one, but the straight one guarantees your position on the black. Well, went for the other one. And another miss. And a chance for John Higgins, red to the right middle.
Well, there's some pressure on this. This needs good cueing. Going to screw back the cue ball.
Please double check that your phone's out at least on silent or switched off.
Right corner.
One.
Yeah, well cued. And now, as John said, the first person in with a chance here. It's a good one. It's a very good one. Yeah, this needed good cueing.
8. Nine.
Surely not. Surely not. Well, I'm afraid it's those type of unforced errors that have plagued John throughout this whole match. When he's got in, he'd be mortified where the cue balls ended up there.
Bramble. John Higgins, 9.
Well, it's a decent safety, but as Stephen said, he'll be so annoyed at that. What a chance. Thin on the safety, that's why he's coming in out of balk, and I think that straight red that Ronnie refused a few shots ago is now on for John Higgins, or is it? Can he get through to it? Maybe not. Just not enough of it sticking out. He's got an alternative to the right corner. Boy, there's pressure on this. If he knocks it in, stuns the cue ball where the red is, he'll be on the pink, but got to get it. Well, he can't pot the blue into the right corner. It's a little bit awkward. It will cut to the right middle. One good positional shot, you feel. And that'll do.
6.
Blue gone on the pink spot. There's no bad thing either.
I can check that, yeah, no problem. Yep.
Ronnie's just asked the referee to check that the blue can't go in its own spot.
No.
Which he's entitled to do, of course, but Marcel Eckardt said no, there's no way that happens. So you have to screw off the side cushion for the black here. Well, the pink goes, or the blue goes. Oh, well. I don't know why you'd be bothered about the blue being on the pink spot. You were right, Stephen.
Twelve. 13.
Yeah, we sat there now thinking about that great opportunity that he didn't make the most of. And he knew at the start of this evening that any chance he he had to take.
19.
Yeah, as I always say, it's not the difficult shots that cost you matches, it's the easy ones. And John Higgins, as I say, his game's been plagued with unforced errors, easy misses, poor positional shots. It's just not going to get the job done when your opponent's playing the way Ronnie is.
26.
The fact that Ronnie missed that black off the spot in the previous frame, I'm sure will sharpen up his concentration for this visit to the table. You'll not want this match dragging on frame after frame. You want to get this done as soon as possible.
$32. 33.
I think he'll go up on the brown spot.
39.
It won't bother Ronnie because he's got the open reds. Blue available.
40.
Black on to both corners. This blue will put him 36 points in front. So 3 more reds, covers. We'll see him past the winning line.
45. 46.
Yeah,
53.
It was a careless positional shot on the black, to be honest with you. He should have left a better potting angle than that.
54.
But no problem. Perfect on the blue. So there you see it.
59.
50 ahead. Just 1 red and a cover.
60.
Yeah, well, he had his chance. That's all you can ask for sometimes.
$67. Ronnie O'Sullivan,
It won't
67.
matter about the red, I'm certain. Well, John's coming back to the table. Fair play. 51 points available, but 58 points behind.
1.
So it's 2 snookers. But this is good to see. He's not going to give up without a real fight. You wouldn't expect anything less from John.
8.
Yeah, but is his heart really in it?
9.
Even that shot there didn't really get nicely on the red. That wasn't the red he wanted to play. He wanted to leave that for laying a possible snooker. There is a player 16. That you don't want trying to lay snookers on you. It's John Higgins. Will be right up there.
John Higgins, 16.
Not quite. Obviously, you try and keep the red on the table. 2 snookers required, but you get a snooker and a free ball. 1 snooker would be enough. And funnily enough, that blue being knocked to the cushion helps John's cause in a way. Gives you a target to aim for. Little rattle could be good, and he got it, and he's got the snooker. Not difficult to hit though.
Foul. John Higgins, 6.
Wow, that is amazing. I said not difficult to hit. Now the difference 36, 35 remaining. 1 snooker needed. Very surprised with that. He's had a look at the scoreboard. I mean, he could pot the red if he doesn't fancy getting it safe, as long as he gets on pink or black. But if you're not playing the pot, get the red safe. Decided to go for the pot. Now, where's the red going to finish? Oh, on for the middle. On for the middle. He won't get any more chances to play snookers.
One.
Well, John has to take, as we were saying, every opportunity.
7.
And he's had a good chance in this frame. Didn't make the most of it.
9.
It's going to be hard now.
12. Sixteen.
Well, it won't matter about the blue.
16 then,
John
the frame.
Higgins will stay in his seat. And Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Do you want a cloth? We make it dry, yeah.
Just trying to hear what Ronnie was saying. Anyway, the bottom line is, he's 1 place or 1 frame away from a place in the final. 16-10. The seat's wet.
This one is definitely dry. I'm not sure how this can be, to be honest.
Oh, a little comedy trying to relieve the tension out there. But he's 1 away now. Wet seat or not. But in terms of John Higgins' participation in that one, guys, there were a few mistakes, and I'm sure he'll feel a little despondent about that frame, the way it went.
Yeah, he's run out of steam. It was a tough match against Jack Lazowski, but he's on a black. The red's everywhere, right? So he's got to get on the red to get back on a black. And he underhits his first shot, Ken.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now he's got problems because he's a little bit out of position already.
He should be like a bit straighter on that, and then he plays this shot. He's trying to hold for the black, but it doesn't have a great angle, and what happens in your arm is that you get heavy, your arm gets heavy, you know, when you're under that pressure. And, you know, even though he played all right in the first one, but he's still under pressure all the time. Your arm gets a bit heavy, you start to overhit balls or underhit balls. He's underhit the black, he's overhit the red.
Yeah.
And, you know, that was another chance missed. If he had got that frame, which he should have done, you just never know, but you can't keep making these unforced errors, you know.
And he's showing Ronnie weakness here.
Yeah, of course. I think probably, you know, in his heart of hearts now, he feels a bit embarrassed about how he's played as well. I don't know, you know, he's a hard character, but I just think that, yeah, he feels like perhaps he's let himself down a fraction. He has nothing. He has nothing to let himself down. He's had an unbelievable season. Yeah. He's been up against a guy who's taken most of the chances he's been given, so he's heaped a bit of pressure on. But after the great match he had against Jack Lazowski, I think he was probably hoping for a better performance. And it feels like he's run out of steam.
And in Ronnie, he's up against a man who has a clear target, a clear ambition and focus, and it has absolutely shone through in every match so far.
Yeah, and when he says he doesn't, he's just there to enjoy it. You can see and feel it, that he wants this more than anything, without a shadow of a doubt.
Break-off shot from Ronnie. Red to the right corner, covered by the green. One to the left corner. Playing the safety, got to be careful. Couple of reds on the right-hand side of the table he's got to avoid. Once again, not finding the baulk cushion, leaves a pot on. Well, the balls went everywhere, but there's a certainty pot here. There's two reds. It looks certain it's a plant to this left corner. I mean, if it is a plant, you could play one onto the other, but he's playing the open red. Well, it went in off that now. Is he on the black? Obviously not. Just went too far, it appears.
Yeah, if the reds weren't there, he'd have missed that pot. He's got nothing left to give in this match.
John Higgins, one.
Unfortunately, I think the mistakes he's made have just ground him down.
One.
So this is a good opportunity for Ronnie, particularly sooner rather than later, when he moves that red away from the right corner and makes that pocket available for the pink, gets the pink on its spot. He could come down this area and also play from one of the reds around the black, which he's just had a quick look at.
Four. 10.
Yeah, he wanted to play the red over the right corner, but just a little bit thin. He'd rather be a bit straighter on it, so he'll take this in the blue.
11.
Don't want to take any risk with the positional side of the shot.
So this red will get the pink back on its
17.
spot, and then there'll really be a chance to close this match out. First session was shared, 4 each, but since then there's only been one player who's dominated this match, you have to say, in all aspects of it.
24.
John's scoring was the one thing that really let him down up to this morning's session. His highest break was 58.
$30. $31.
For once, Ronnie doesn't get right side of the blue.
Yeah, I suppose guaranteed position and make the next shot easy is to play the pink. But he's playing the blue.
$36.
Yeah, a little bit surprised.
Me too.
This is a tricky red. Yeah, very surprised at that last shot
Ronnie
choice. The pink
O'Sullivan,
was
36.
not too difficult. As you said, John, guaranteed position on the next red.
Yeah, and the pink was into an open pocket, so it was easier than that red that he's just missed.
One. Yeah.
Roll that in nicely. Just asking Marcel Eckardt, our referee, to clean the white. Not certain about the availability of these two reds either side of the black. Well, it appears that the one, as we're looking now, to the left of the black is available.
Seven. $13. $14.
Just kind of a little bit awkward.
21.
You can cue past the red, but with the black not being available into the opposite corner, play for pink, do you?
22.
Oh, cued it nicely. Good shot.
$28. 29.
Well, he's going to need the red on the left cushion, which is obviously the awkward one.
That black puts him 1 point in front.
36. $37.
It's a little bit risky,
43.
but I don't think he'll refuse the opportunity in potting his red to bring the other one away from the side cushion. Trust to look for position on the colour. Didn't catch it full enough.
44.
And he's not good on the colour.
$49.
14 points the lead. Now a very important tactical exchange on this last red. And that's a good start to it from John Higgins.
49.
That's very good.
Yeah, very good visit to the table, that, all things considering. A chance he missed in the previous frame. Ronnie will settle for this. He will settle for this. We expect Ron John to hit the red, but, well, can he get it safe?
Foul. And a miss. Ronnie O'Sullivan 4. Yeah.
I can only assume the way he played it that the natural one cushion escape wasn't on. He was just trying to square the angle.
Oh, you want to check? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, John's asking to ask the assistant referee, so to speak, to check because it's important where that cue ball is.
Touch more.
Okay.
Because he wants to make an adjustment now off this side cushion.
Ronnie.
So he wants it in the same place. Happy now. Judged it better that time. And it's run safe. That's all you can hope for.
Well, you say it's run safe, but I think Ronnie's eyeing this red up down the cushion. Very difficult pot, but if it goes in, well, he refused it. He had a look at the potting point of the red, decided it wasn't worth the risk. As I said, he doesn't want this match dragging on longer than it needs to. But it's not a good safety shot.
Well, that's a lovely kiss on the black. Gotta be careful here. He's coming off the baulk cushion with lots of left-hand side. But not enough left-hand side. Where's the cue ball going? Ooh, and in off there.
Higgins, 4.
And he'd have left the frame at the mercy of John Higgins. No free ball. So, being replaced. Thing is, on these super fine cloths, when you're playing with a lot of left-hand side, it pushes the cue ball so far to the right. And particularly if you hit it hard, it doesn't come back as much.
Just move it a fraction towards you. No, it's the other way, sorry.
So that's where it was.
Fraction into the.
That's where it is now.
Marcel, a fraction towards the black, into the table, just a fraction. No, straight forward, not down.
Oh, right.
It was there.
I moved it towards the black.
And now it's there. That looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, that'll do. Yep.
Sure.
The only thing is with this shot, if he's going to come off the baulk cushion again with left-hand side, he's got to play a big swerve to find that point on the baulk cushion. Normally you play 2 cushions, but the black stopping the one down the left-hand side of the table, the brown stopping the one on the right. He's going in between the yellow and the red now. Come off the baulk cushion, judged it to perfection. But that flick on the blue has left the red on.
One.
Well, struck that pot beautifully, but it was pretty straight, so couldn't quite get the cue ball across. Right in the middle of the pocket, as you see. Natural angle. Here, pot in the pink, guaranteed position on the pink, on the yellow. But don't forget the pot. Yeah, it's a guaranteed position in the yellow. He's underhit that. This needs good cueing. Pot the yellow, screw back for the green.
7. Nine.
Beautifully struck. So just the green to get to snooker's required.
12.
It's another frame on the board. As we say, just got to play each frame as it comes, see where it gets you. Ronnie had a golden
16.
opportunity when the reds were nicely spread. Played a poor positional shot for once.
21.
Well, consider an easy pot that John missed, and I, like Stephen, were thinking, well, has he weakened?
27
Has his race been run? But given a second chance, boy, did he take it well. Never count John Higgins out. 16-11, O'Sullivan.
No, absolutely not, John. And Ronnie knows that very well. This is the 70th match that they've played in their careers. It's the longest running head-to-head in professional snooker. And they've both been dusted up by one another. They have to play it very cagely. They'll be very wary of one another even now.
Yeah, well, John was ready to bail out there, missed a shot early on, but Ronnie gave him another chance. So it was nice to see John get something back there. But at some stage, you think that Ronnie's going to sort of win a frame in one visit. So it feels like it's inevitable. But of course, we know from snooker, you never know.
No, you really don't. And there's a shot you picked out, Ken, here that's symptomatic.
It's the last red, but it was one shot. It was just off straight. And he's shown a lot of character and a lot of heart out there, John. He knows it's almost impossible now. But have a look at how well he cued this. Right into the heart of the pocket. And he did about as well as he could to get it over to the pink. But yeah, you just have to, as a professional, you have to just not give it to your opponent easy. Try your hardest and just see what happens, and that's all you can do. Just play, as I said, as if it's the last frame. And that's what he's doing, he's got the heart of a lion, he's a great champion. And it's also pride of performance as well that sort of comes into play.
Especially after a season like he's had. I mean, he's lost 3 stones. He's definitely feeling better about himself and his game, and he's prolonging his career here. Extraordinary effort for him this season.
Yeah, his experience is enough to know that on occasions the wheel falls off for the other person. So never give up.
the schedule to be a mid-session interval after this frame. So that's a goal, that's an aim for John Higgins.
One.
Beautiful pot. Beautifully struck. And there you see clearly the red that's available.
8.
He was hoping to be a little bit low on this red, I think, so he could bring at least another red or two into play, but as you see, landed dead straight, so this is the big shot. Stun into the right-hand side red. Didn't play that
16.
as well as he normally plays that shot. A little bit, almost too much screw in the cue ball there. So I would just stun and try and get the cue ball through the reds.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 16.
Good length for the cue ball. And I think the blue is blocking the path to this red near the right corner. Certainly is. Wow, that's excellent from Ronnie. And now John Higgins, at first glance, well, it's going to be very difficult unless he can get past the brown to this red to the right corner. Didn't think he could. Oh, he clearly can. That was the only way he felt that he could possibly get position on the black. So hard, playing it at that speed, full length of the table. He's left Ronnie a chance here. Red to the right middle.
Yeah, it looks to me the natural angle will take the cue ball close to in between pink and brown. Back up the table for the blue, hopefully. And couldn't avoid the pink.
1.
So, good shot required here to get position on the next red. He has got angle in the pink though.
Seven. Eight.
Short in the blue again. Bit of a collector's item for Ronnie O'Sullivan. Doesn't finish short ever really on the blue, but It's not really a problem this time. This red to the right corner is not difficult at all. Just coming around to see exactly where he wants the cue ball in order that it can just pop the red and stun for the black.
13.
Did that nicely. All the reds just seem to be blocking one another. But if you play a good positional shot here, remove one red, it will make way for another. So this could be the key to the frame and to the match. Good positional shot off this black. It's not the type of situation where you have to play cannons. Just keep tight control of the cue ball.
22.
Yeah, you feel a cannon on the red directly above the black would just open everything up. But there is reds that go to either corner pocket through gaps of other reds. It doesn't have to play a cannon here. You might feel it's a risk not worth taking. As I say, doesn't want this match really to go to the mid-session interval.
$29. $30.
Yeah, not for the first time this evening. Straight on the blue, but he's got a red available to the left corner. Shouldn't cause a problem, but if he had the right angle, he'd be a lot closer to the red. Can he pinch a bit? He has done, forced it down. Of course, the closer you get to the object ball,
35.
the easier the pot will be.
$36.
Yeah, just looking now where he'd like to be. There's two reds in the middle of the table that are available, but it's a very precise positional shot. Well, thought the less risky one was to play for the red in the right middle, but this isn't perfect by any means. But a terrific shot, and now just a few pots away from a place in the final. This black, one more red, it'll be snookers required. Isn't that just like this game? You just
51.
need one more red to clinch victory. It's gone slightly wrong, but there may be a plant to this right corner. It looks pretty well set to me. And he goes. Ronnie O'Sullivan, the world #1. He's on the verge of booking his place in the final against Judd Trump, who has been world #1 for the last few years and the player of the last few seasons. So what a clash we have in store.
58.
Somebody telling Ronnie where his chalk went. Sometimes he pushes the cue through and knocks it out of his waistcoat pocket. It's something he's always done. So that will mean John Higgins will stay in his seat. We started the semi-final with 3 of the class of 92. And John Higgins, along with Mark Williams, is going to bow out. But boy, have they proved to the new generation. If you want to be successful, you've got to get past them. And that will be the same for Judd Trump in the final.
65.
John Higgins has performed some unbelievable. I thought his last 2 frames against Jack Luzowski was something to behold. But maybe that just left
71.
a little bit of a mark on him for this semi-final, which he knew was always going to be
72.
tough, and he knew he had to play his best, and unfortunately, that's not happened. But as you well know, Stephen, you're playing these long matches, you know, and
17.
it's tough, isn't it? It's tough 17 days, or in this case, 15.
Yeah, that's why this tournament is the biggest test. Every part of you,
79.
physically, mentally, and your technique, everything gets tested to the max. And when you get to this stage of the tournament, any part of that game goes, then you're going to struggle.
Oh, what a shot that was!
83.
Hendry, but John Higgins will come out now, shake hands with his good friend and wish him best of luck for the final. No shame in John Higgins, once again another spectacular tournament. The class of 92, they put the benchmark down, and Ronnie O'Sullivan will be doing that in the final tomorrow. What a clash, what a mouth-watering clash when he meets Judd Trump in a 2-day final here at the Crucible. Ronnie O'Sullivan wins 17 frames to 11.
He's done it again, through to an 8th final since 2001, and well deserved, you've got to say. It was such a tense match, bristling almost at the start of it, but it's O'Sullivan who comes out on top.
Yeah, I think the most impressive thing Ronnie O'Sullivan that I've seen throughout this whole tournament is even if he's got off to a sort of a bad start in a session, by the end of the session he's been playing really strong stuff. His focus, I think, has been brilliant. He's done a really professional job. He's not really been stretched other than at the start of a couple of matches, but he looks by the end of the session to be free-flowing, which is not the case for every snooker player in the world.
Indeed. OK, well, we've got Gilbert, Allen, Maguire and Higgins, the men that he's beaten to get there, and of course it's going to be against Judd Trump in tomorrow's final. But a word about John Higgins. We will talk about him shortly because I believe he is now with Rob Walker.
John, we have seen you mount some monumental comebacks, but just a little bit too much there.
Oh no, the way I was hitting the ball the last couple of days, there was no way I was coming back there. Ronnie was lethal. I don't think I could actually count at all if he'd actually missed when he was really in about them. He maybe missed when he maybe ran out of position or maybe didn't get a split of the balls, but every time he got in he was just lethal. He really was. He was unbelievable. But me, no, I was really poor, really poor.
Do you think that moment on the respot for 9-7 and then it went to 10-6, was that a bit of a turning point?
Yeah, well, you could say that, but listen, the way I've been playing the whole tournament, I think there's only really been one session, maybe at the end against Noppon, that actually felt good throughout the whole tournament. The rest of the tournament was just scrapping. And against someone like Ronnie, you cannot win just scrapping the balls about.
You've been playing each other at the highest level for 3 decades. Is that close to the best he's ever played against you, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, he's a bit better. He's a different animal than he's ever been really on the table. He was scrapping for everything there, and he never really let anything get on top of him. Maybe at the start of the match he maybe did, but he fought back, but no, he was lethal, as I said, and I wasn't very good.
Spoken with real honesty, John. Have a great summer, and we'll see you next season.
You
Thanks.
too, mate. You too. Cheers.
Well played, John. He'll be back, but here he is, through to an 8th final. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 21 years after first beating John out there to win that first title.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Tell us about the achievement of being there again, Ronnie. Well done.
I don't know, to be honest with you. Sometimes I said to my mate today, I said I'd much rather sat in a punditry box for 17 days. Seriously, I'd have had a lot more fun and enjoyed it. But, you know, as a snooker player, it's very hard to not put yourself through this, you know what I mean? But out of all the tournaments, this and the Masters, especially this, I find it really difficult, you know what I mean? Like, just even this afternoon, just waiting around and having a lead. Sometimes you wish it was like 15-9 down. You can relax a bit and just come out swinging, you know. But it just plays tricks with your mind, this venue, you know. It's just really tough, you know.
It's draining out there, but like, I think you've done a really professional job, considering the fact that, you know, as the tournament goes on, you get tireder and tireder.
I don't feel tired though. I just feel it's just a difficult tournament, you know. It's a long time, you know, 17 days. You know, and you play your first match and you have 5 days off, and then you know it's just tough. I mean, Steve will tell you, Steve and Hendry. You know, some people probably take to it a bit better than others, but I prefer to be honest with you, I prefer the Championship League at Leicester, where you're there for a day and a half, 2 days, and it's just pure snooker, and you're in and out, and you know, it's all you want to do is play snooker. But there's a bit of a circus around this tournament,
well, exactly.
And it goes on for. If it was maybe a week, you could probably suffer it. But 17 days of stress, you know. I'm definitely going to book myself into Champions after this for a month.
I remember you saying actually earlier that you've gone through the whole sort of mental toolbox of tricks and techniques. And the Allen keys and the spanners.
I ran out
Did
tonight.
you?
I ran out tonight. I didn't have one for tonight. I was just sort of like having to go through the motions, you know. Sometimes there isn't an answer. Sometimes you just don't know what to do. You just have to put one foot in front of the other, you know.
Were you surprised that John didn't really fire?
I was surprised at the way he played. You know, he's an amazing safety player, but it was the type of safety he was playing. It was a bit like Selby's safety. It was like a lot of containing, a lot of like putting frame scrappy, which is not like John. And yeah, I was surprised at that, to be honest with you. And that just sort of, I just knew I had to just keep my rhythm, keep my flow, and play what I think is the type of snooker that you know you'd have to play to win tournaments. You know, I think that's probably where John's maybe fell short this season, is that maybe a bit too defensive, maybe trying to, you know, tie the game up too much. I think in this modern day you kind of have to grab the game by the scruff of the neck, even though it's a really hard thing to do. But you just have to go against the grain sometimes and just force it, you know.
It felt really tense. The first couple of sessions, the start of the sessions, the safety was like immense, but that was perhaps because you needed to sort of just overcome that type of safety.
I don't know, you know, it's very hard to push the boat out. You know, if you're going to start pushing the boat out, then someone like John will just pick you off. So it's like, you know, I decided at 3-0 down, I felt I had no rhythm, so I was just thought, right, just keep your pace from now to the end of the match. Just keep your pace. A couple of times I felt like I was walking around needlessly, but you know, it's just sort of how, you know, you have little sticky patches in the match, and it's just how quickly you can kind of get back out of that and back into a rhythm, I think, you know.
Even at 10-6, even when you were making progress at 15-9, did you ever allow yourself to feel comfortable against a guy like that?
I've worked with everything with Steve Peters, and every time he says, you know, it's not over, I went, Steve, there's one thing you can guarantee me, I'll never think I'm over the line, because I lack confidence, you know. That's probably why I needed help, you know. I'm not a very confident person, never have been as a kid, always felt everyone was better than me, and it's kind of, you live with that sometimes. So it's only when I'm out there playing that I kind of go, okay, you're holding your own here, so maybe you're not as bad as you think, you know. So yeah, I mean, I struggle with all that sort of stuff, but you just have to get out in the pit and give it a go, don't you? What else am I going to do? It's not like to take golf up and compete on the US PGA Tour, is it?
Start some restaurants or something like that.
Being an accountant, you can kind of take another course and use them skills for someone else, you know. But once you're playing snooker, you're in it, you know.
But you know, after all this time and all these years coming here and getting into an 8th final, how much better do you think you're getting at managing everything around it? You talk about the hoopla and the expectation. Do you feel you're better at it?
I don't think you ever get better at managing. I think from 2000, I think the first 2 or 3 Worlds I won, it was just off of instinct, and then once I started working with Steve Peters, I could feel like I did able to stem what I thought might have usually fell apart, you know, and I do put that down to working with Steve. I was able to steady the ship, but it never gets easier. It never gets easier.
No.
It never will, and I've accepted that. And yeah, it's just yeah.
Well, on to tomorrow. Tell me, did you catch any of the first semi-final?
I watched bits and pieces of it, yeah. I watched a bit today, and then I switched on to iPlayer and watched a few documentaries. I think sometimes, I haven't watched much snooker all this week. I've kind of been watching a lot of stuff on the BBC iPlayer. They've got some good documentaries on there, so just been getting a bit of that in,
Glad to hear it, glad to hear it. But you now know, obviously, it's Trump in this final, and you've had some great matchups with this fella over the last few years, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, we've played some good matches. We've played a lot of good matches. It's been, I mean, he's played well. I think in some ways, I don't know, just listen to what he's saying. You know, he wasn't comfortable with his game coming into the tournament, but to be able to get to the final of the World Championships, not playing your best, that's what it's about. It's not about winning tournaments when you're playing well. Any player can do that. It's just being able to get the job done when you're not at your best. So, that's a hallmark of a fantastic player. You know, so yeah, he'll be a tough nut to crack.
Well, semi-final, job done, Ronnie. Congratulations. There's another job to do over the next couple of days, and we wish you well for that. Thank you very much for bringing in.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right. Well, let me just update you on what was going on in that other semi-final, because as you probably have shared, one of the most dramatic of comebacks from Mark Williams against Judd Trump. He got back from 7-1 and 9-2 behind, and he forced this decider, but in the end it was Trump who got over the line and into a third final against Ronnie.
If I can take the feeling of what I had out there, it was sort of similar. I think if Mark didn't play well, it was similar to how I felt against John Higgins in the final. I felt that good. So if I can get off to a good start against whoever it is, I truly believe my best game is very, very close.
So we have got ourselves another championship classic in the making. It's O'Sullivan against Trump, and that is a four-parter, gentlemen, once again, because we've got two sessions tomorrow, 1 o'clock and 7 o'clock, and then bank holiday Monday is all sorted. Do not move from your sofa. We'll be here all day from 1 o'clock. And Ronnie, of course, looking forward to that one, I'm sure, as are we, because these guys have played some wonderful matches. They've actually, this is the Triple Crown, effectively. They've played a Masters final, they've played a UK final, it's one each in those finals, and it's all come down to this. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, you've got to look forward to Ronnie O'Sullivan versus Judd Trump, two of the most astonishing players we've ever seen in the game. Breathtaking shots, brilliant shot makers, both of them.
How different a challenge is this now, again, for O'Sullivan?
Yeah, it will be another challenge. And, you know, they've had some fantastic matches in previous seasons, but this will be what both of them want, I think. I think Judd Trump will really look forward to taking on Ronnie O'Sullivan on the greatest stage of all. And I think Ronnie O'Sullivan, in a way, will want to, you know, take on Judd Trump and say, listen, I'm still the master, you know. Yeah,
well, it's actually Trump who has bossed many of their most recent encounters, isn't it? In fact, I think it's 13 each in recent matches. But of course, he's been the man. He's been the world #1. He's been the guy that really has been wiping the floor with many players. Now things are different. As you say, he's come here with not his A game. He's done well to get here. Ronnie is the world #1. It's a fascinating dynamic this time, isn't it?
It is. I mean, obviously, you know, Ronnie winning 7 world championships, absolutely cements him as the best player the game's ever seen. Judd Trump winning this World Championship elevates him to another level of premiership, and they both have a lot to play for. Obviously, the World Championship, you can't get any more. But I think Judd will be absolutely satisfied, beyond belief satisfied to win it again. That's fantastic.
And he's dominated, you know, the last 3 years. Don't forget, OK, he's had a bit of a lean spell this year, but that's his own fault because he's only won 2 tournaments because he's been so good over the last few seasons. So he's set really high standards, and it's going to be a fascinating final because they're, as Steve said, 2 of the greatest entertainers that has ever played the game, and they're going to really give us a wonderful final, I'm sure.
How close do you think Judd is to finding this A game that he's talked about? He says he's getting close, and we're beginning to see that. But more to the point, he's scrapping. He's really grafting out there.
Yeah, he's got a great tactical game, but I think he can raise his game to the big occasion. That's great. He could, and also, it's hard to outclass Judd Trump because he plays his own type of game, whereas most times Ronnie can put people sort of and go, yeah, he's far better than everybody else. He's a different animal, Judd Trump. That's why it's fascinating. You don't really know, there's an X factor involved in his game that he can just turn it on like that, in the same way as Ronnie can. So they both have the ability to steal each other's thunder.
We shall look forward to it, and I'm sure you will as well. Ken's already rubbing the hands there. And it all kicks off this final at 1 o'clock tomorrow. It is a Crucible Generations game between O'Sullivan and Trump, and I really hope that you'll be able to join us for the next 2 days. It's a marathon. See you soon. Bye-bye for now.